Shalom. This is Truth is Everlasting, Lion's Den. I am Yahweh Sat. I camp out with Lion Den, Hawan Ben Yashawat in Jacksonville, Florida. But first I have to give a prayer to the Father, to the Son, to the elders, to the archons, and to the women and children around the world in Paleo-Hebrew language. Ka Halayim Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Ha-Rokah Kodash Mahamah, in the name of Yahweh Shai, in spirit, in holy, and in truth. The oneness to the 144,000 chosen elect, the oneness to the apostles of GMS, the oneness to the apostles of Lion Den's camp. Salutations to the archons who are on the four corners of the earth, and to the women and children, Shalom. Okay, something very interesting is popping up. I did a lesson, and I believe I mentioned that well, the lesson had to do that it's not about missiles or weapons of mass destruction in Iran, right? That has to do not with religion. And I think I believe I said that lo and behold, what happened is something is, you know, archaeology, um, ancient over there that the Edomites, right, and the tiny hat want to destroy because it would push everyone to ask very important questions, and it will have the answers. Lo and behold, part one, it says here war in Iran, right? And they're going to show you what exactly they want to destroy, believe it or not. Anyway, the title of this lesson is called He Covers the Faces. Here we go.
Not going along with the mainstream story. A story that is set up to control the population. What is in Tehran, Iran, that they want destroyed and erased forever? Let's go find it. A post on Truth Social from Donald J. Trump states that everybody should immediately evacuate Tehran. And so, that night, they all listened. A mass evacuation took place. Evacuating an old world city, in my opinion. So again, let's go find exactly what was evacuated. The Golistan Palace, a palace from the old world with architecture that shreds the mainstream narrative story hour in a second. A structure that does not belong in our timeline. The photos inside this building are incredible to look at. If my town gave me one of these, I think I would lose my mind. With the griffins right on the front entrance at the bottom, as well as in the art. A palace without a doubt. We have talked about wars many times. We have seen the destruction countless times. Planned attacks on locations that are filled with old world buildings, places that don't belong in the horse and wagon era, especially when we are told that this palace, a UNESCO site, was constructed in the dirt road era, the no toilet era of the 1520s. They're wiping with their hands, yet constructing this palace while riding around on a donkey, with major reconstruction plans taking place in 1797. With records of the actual construction process, of course, being vague or symbolic. Little manpower and tools, none of it was documented. While at the exact same time, they're supposedly documenting their political reforms and royal life extensively. If you were in the business of documenting things, you would mention how this place was constructed, at least a little bit. Yet, nothing is documented. And time again, we see this. We've seen how many horses it would take to construct something like this. We already know that the horses need a lot of water, and this would all have to be planned out. This would be part of the story, and we know that the manpower would be massive. Yet there is...
Yep, stop it there. How you like that? So much of history of our past that is not talked about because it's destroyed by the wicked. The same way they destroyed many towns, right? Black Wall Street and other history buildings in so-called America or in around the world, okay? Let's go to Job chapter 9 verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right? So, you know, a lot of people now have woken up around the world and they have answered this question. Now they know who it is through their actions and through their words also, because they keep pretending that they follow the Bible, but they do the opposite, right? Let's go to First Maccabee Let's see. Wait, give me a minute. See if I can find it real quick over here. First Maccabee chapter 3. Start with verse 48. We still have old buildings in America, but they turn them to other things like terminal train stations, right? And other names they gave to these old ancient buildings. Verse 48, and lay open the books of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likenesses of their image. Right? They're destroying everything and building their images and say, how great they are, when they're not. One big fat lie. Verse 49, they brought also priestess garments and first fruits and the tithing of the Nazarites, right, the Israelite, they stir up, who had accomplished their days. Verse 50. Then cried they with a loud voice towards heaven, saying, what shall we do with these? And whither shall we carry them away? Verse 51. And they censured is trendered down and profane, and thy priests are in heaviness and brought low. Yeah, our people are brought very low. Okay. Of course, we're no angels. Okay, we broke the law of Yahweh Shin Yahweh Shai, right? But he had everything planned for us to do such things to teach us and perfect us in us going through and learning the what is wickedness, right? What is the beginning and the end of wickedness, which is destruction. 52. And lo, the heathens are assembled together against us to destroy us. What things they imagine against us, thou knowest. Right? Only Yahweh Shai knew it because he controls everything. Verse 53. How shall we be able to stand against them, except thou, O Yahweh, be our help? And boy, we know that now loud and clear, right? So let me go now to Malachi. Malachi? Is it Malachi? Give me a minute. Slakia. I gotta look at it so I can Malachi. Verse chapter 1, verse 4. Whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate place. Thou sayest, Yahweh Shai of hosts, of army, right? They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the borders of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh Bashin Yahushua has indignation forever. Now you know what happened in the time and era of Babylon, right? So when it was destroyed, okay, and when but it was King David who put the Edomites in back in the caves, right, in the mountains. I hate Esau and lay his mountain and its heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness, which is verse 3, Slakia, right? So things are repeating itself, and what an interesting event that they want now to for all these years attacking Iran. And I'm sure that has to do with not only this, but with everything else: the water, the lake, the river, right, the land. That the heathens want to, go around the world, rape, rob, and plunder, and divide people because they feel like it. They want to, right? Um, let me. I was looking at something here. I'm gonna go now to Song, Salakia. Song says 35, verse 27. Let them shout for joy and be glad that favor my righteousness, my righteous cause. Yea, let them say continually, let Yahweh Bahashim Yahshua be manifested, which has pleasure in the prosperity of his servants. Right? So we rejoice, that he has called us, walking us up to the truth, and that we see the end of this wicked kingdom, which is not our kingdom, right? Getting closer and closer to an end. We're just waiting for when they start mandating the charagma, okay? Because they have to. Not people are not going to be joining when the drafting kicks in. A lot of people ain't going to go. They don't want to go, you know. And also with the charagma, the C hip, the chip, turning people into cyborgs, they will control them much easier, right? So when Yahushua comes back with a host of angels or army of angels, they have people, fighting Yahushua and the angels while the heathens, right, and the wicked go underground and hide, right? Verse 28, and my tongue shall speak of thy righteousness and of thy praise all day long. And yeah, that's what we've been doing day and night since 1960, our Bivens in New York. That's where it started. And then it went to GMS. From there it grew around the world like wildfire. Without even taking a plane. How you like that? Through the internet. Let me go to Psalm chapter 70, verse 4. Let all those that seek thee rejoice and be glad in thee. And let such as love thy salvation say continually, let Yahweh Bashin Yahushai be manifested. Woo! Beautiful, huh? Yeah. And it keeps growing and growing. Verse 5, but I am poor and needy. Make haste unto me, O Yahweh. Thou art my help and my deliverer. O Yahweh, make no tarry. Yes, we're called the Father through his Son Yahweh Shai. For the Father to send Yahweh Shai, our King of Kings, Lord of Lords, our big brother, 10 feet tall, dark skinned with an afro, right? And our other brothers, the angels, the host of angels, which is our army of angels, okay? Because, as you can see, the not only here, but, around China as well and other countries are building massive, massive database. And that's going to need a lot of water, right? Which is going to dry out the amount of water in a massive, massive amount of short time. But at the same time, this giant databases that they're building, right, is causing damage to the earth, and it's going to be causing damage and problems to people's well-being as well. As soon as they activate the new G6, okay? Keep that in mind. Let's see if they announce when they're going to do it. Let me go to Psalm, back to chapter 50. I'll go to verse 15. And call upon me. Okay, wait. Verse 15. And call upon me in the days of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. Woo! Yes, sir. Read verse 15. But unto the wicked, Yahweh says, what hast thou to do to declare my stature, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Right? Not knowing that when they did that, well, they committed another treason, because the book only belonged to 12 tribes, the so-called Negros Latinos, Native Americans, and speckled birds. Verse 17, seeing thou hate his instruction, and casteth my words behind thee. Yeah, all talk just to deceive the mass. How you like that? Let me jump to verse 22. Now consider this, ye that forgot Yahweh, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whoo! Whoa! That is serious. Verse 23. Whoso offers praise glorifies me, and to him that orders his conversation upright will I show salvation of Yahweh. Hmm? Man. And boy, the heathens, they hate that we speak in the name of Yahweh Shai and his righteousness, right? Who's going to come and deliver us? The 144, well, I pray and hope that I'm one of them, the 144,000 chosen elect and one third of men, women, and children. Let's go now to Psalm chapter 1, verse 5. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. Verse 6. For Yahweh knoweth the ways of the righteous, but the ways of ungodly shall perish. Yep, that is so true. And that time is getting closer and closer. They're speeding things up, right? Things are moving faster every day. Well, I'll leave it with Psalm chapter 37. Let me start with verse 18. Yahweh knows the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. Woo! It's an inheritance. That means that nobody can take that away from us. No matter what they're doing right now, the wicked and the heathens. All this destruction, all these wars, right? All this delighting people. At the end, Yahushua is going to take everything away from them and give it back to his people. Hmm? Verse 22, for such as be blessed of him shall inherit the earth, and they that be cursed of him shall be cut off. See? It's a contract. It's a will written by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Right? Satan cannot change it. Right? No one. It's a done deal. Verse 27, depart from evil and do good, and dwell forevermore. Let's go now to verse 32. Yeah. The wicked watches the righteous and seeketh to slay him. Verse 33. Wait on Yahweh Shai and keep his ways, and he shall what? Exhort thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. Ooh, wait a minute. Slaka, I got too excited. Verse 33. Yahweh will not leave him in his land, in his hands. Right? So let me start with verse 32 again. The wicked watches the righteous and seeks to slay him. Verse 33. Yahweh Shai will not leave him in his hands, nor condemn him when he is judged. Now, verse 34. Wait on Yahweh Shai and keep his ways, and he shall what? Exhort thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. Wow. Meanwhile, here in the plantation of this wicked kingdom, we are waiting for that day to come. But we have to wait, like I said before, till they bring in the charagma, the sea hip. Once they do that, things are going to speed up much, much faster. I hope that this was edifying, and with that I'll say, Shalom.